So today let's talk about something that's not too serious. How about we try something different today? We talk about ghosts. It's not even October. Let's talk about ghosts and spirits. How about that? Biggest question that I have is, if the soul is inside of a body, then when the body dies, what happens to the soul? So if the body is a vessel and the soul is the power, does it just fade away? I heard this story today, kind of like an urban legend, about a family that had a kid who was special. Special in the sense that this kid was not like any other kid that you might know. At a very early age, this child was afraid of the dark. There was no ifs about it. He was afraid of the dark. So then one day, it happened to be date night. So mom and dad got a babysitter, and they gave her specific rules to follow. And mind you, these times are back in the day, when way before they had electricity, where light at night was based on lanterns and candles. So the babysitter later on that night put the child to bed, go get their Z's for the night. And mind you, by this point, the child is already 6 years old. And, she checked on him. He's good. So she decided to do what babysitters do. Well, when the parents came home, the babysitter had accidentally fallen asleep. And to their surprise, well, you know where I'm going. All the lights were out. You see, when she put the child to bed, she didn't realize that the child's bedroom window was slightly open. And in the time where she fell asleep, a gust of wind kicked up and put out the light. So you know what happens next, right? Exactly. The child happened to wake up, and to their surprise, it was pitch black, dark. So the kids started to freak out a little bit, and sure enough, he couldn't comprehend that it was dark. He couldn't believe that his parents would leave him in the dark, and he started to freak out. He started freaking out so bad that he gave himself a heart attack, and he died. So when the parents went to go check on him when they got home from their date night, the child was gone. So they mourned him. They had their wake, and they put him to rest at their local cemetery. Well, after everything was said and done and the child was buried, the following morning, the graveyard keeper, whoever's in charge of cleaning up, just walk in around 5 in the morning, making his rounds, making sure that everything's good and dandy, tidied up. And to his surprise, there is a coffin undug with the lid open. He's a bit shocked, and then at the same time he's like, it must have been a graveyard thief. So he calls the parents and asked, did you guys bury anything with your child that's worth the value? They said no. All right. No worries. That's all he asked. He didn't say what had happened. So they, close up the box and bury the child. The following day, same thing occurred. The box is out. It's undug and the lid is open. So then they decide to call the parents. The parents come down to the cemetery and they can't believe their eyes. Like, what the heck happened? Well, it's unexplainable. So they conducted another little mass and buried the child. Third day, it happened again. But this time, the gravekeeper paid attention a little bit to detail. And when he walked up to the box, he noticed, obviously the lid is on the floor. When he picks it up, first thing he noticed is that the box had traces of indentations of some sort, that it was being pried open from the inside out. What does that tell you, huh? So then he called the parents again. They show up. And that's when they clicked. The mom turns around and tells the, graveyard keeper, hey, my son was afraid of the dark. So all three folks put their heads together and came up with a different way to bury the child, to where it was above ground with some sort of skylight, so that way the sun can shine during the day, but at night there was 4 pillars that needed to get lit, so that way you have your fire going at night and the child is not in the dark. So when I heard that story, it kind of gets you thinking a little bit, and thus brought me to that question: if the soul leaves the body, how is it that the body is trying to get out? Maybe that's why it's legend, right? I don't know, I'm just asking. What are your thoughts? What do you think that is?